beautiful car on the highway, the 1953 Chrysler. Strike up the band, sound the trumpets, slide those trombones. Oh, you big bass horns. Beat those drums. Chrysler dealers and salesmen, this is it. Here comes the parade. Your parade. For years, you've had the best engineered car in America. Now, for 1953, you'll have the most beautiful Chrysler ever designed, creating a stunning new mood in highway fashion. The whole world will soon be saying, wow! All this, and beauty, too. But before we get into our preview of the beauty parade, let's have a one-minute review. Here's a situation I think a lot of you will recognize. It's Bill Sellers, Chrysler salesman, just back from a demonstration to Mr. and Mrs. Fred Jones.
Well, Mr. Jones, how did it handle?
Well, that's the best doggone ride I ever had. Didn't you like it, dear?
It was very nice.
Notice that pickup when you needed it and that soft ride over the rough spot?
I sure did. When you stuff my 6'3" in a car without cramping it, boy, you've got something.
Fred's crazy about this car. I can see that. I like it, but it isn't quite the style I'd like.
And see that power steering, it does all the work for you.
I'll say. Well, dear, don't you think we might as well take it?
Let's talk it over. You can phone him.
Oh. All right. I'll call you later. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jones, and thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Willett. Your new Chrysler will be ready for you this afternoon. And I'm sure that you and your family are going to love it. Goodbye, Mr. Willett. Midtown Motors, Bill Sellers. Oh, hello, Mr. Jones. How soon can I bring it over? Oh, I see. But, Mr. Jones... Oh, your wife said. Sure. Later, maybe, huh? Well, thanks for calling.
Tough luck.
You're telling me?
Oh, well, you're still selling your share, aren't you?
Oh, I do all right. But when someone comes along and all they want is style...
You don't mean they do without performance and comfort, just for style.
Oh, no? Did you ever see a fat woman fight her way into a tight girdle?
I see what you mean.
Well, some people put up with cramping themselves into a car like that and sit with their knees up under their chins if they think the outside looks sufficiently unusual or stylish.
Well, for all who will do that, think how they'll go for the last word in real beauty, style, and distinction, when now you can offer it to them in the most comfortable, greatest performing, finest engineered car in America.
You mean the new Chrysler? That's what I'm waiting to see.
That's what the whole world is waiting to see. One moment, please. Permit me to introduce myself. I'm Dick Lane. I'm the guy who's just been talking with that salesman. And now I want to talk to all you dealers and salesmen. And best of all, I want to show you the new queen of the beauty parade, the most beautiful Chrysler ever designed. All right, boys, open the curtain. Basic beauty comes from beauty of line. That's why I want your first glimpse of the 1953 Chrysler to be of its lines of beauty, grace, and flow. As seen in its breathtaking silhouette, the Chrysler New Yorker. Beauty with good taste. Beauty that is distinctive. For the sake of comparison, we'll superimpose a silhouette of the 1952 New Yorker over the new one. You can see where the new Chrysler is lower overall, more gracefully proportioned, like a bird in flight. To give you a further idea of the change in the shape of the doors, here's how they look in the 1952 car. And here is how they look in the new Chrysler. Notice the new door in the rear for greater vision. You're going to see more of the car in a minute. But even in outline, you can see this is no facelifting job. In everything that has to do with appearance, the 1953 Chrysler is a new car. For several years, we've gone along without any major changes. But this year, we started fresh. And remember, this is the work of 3,000 Chrysler engineers, recognized as the leading engineering group in the industry, working toward a double goal: to give you distinctive beauty in the best of taste, and yet not sacrifice any of the mechanical superiorities, the famous Chrysler ride, comfort, and performance you already have. And now for some of the new features you wanted to see, and I can hardly wait to tell you about. It's an 1.5-inch lower car, without sacrificing headroom or knee-height seats. The silhouette helps show you how the new one-piece curved windshield becomes a part of the sweeping flow line. In detail, it's like this. Not only the curve, but the angle in relation to the driver's eyes is scientifically designed and installed to minimize distortion. Yes, you see, you were seeing the view through the new curved one-piece windshield. And as we roll along, notice how that sweeping glass and the narrow A-posts at each side give you the feeling that you're riding practically out of doors. Not only can you see where you're going, but where you've been. The new wraparound clear-back window, whether looked out of direct or through the rear view mirror, gives you an equally unobstructed view to the rear. The new rear door. Chryslers have been noted for the ease with which you can get in and out. No shoehorns needed. But here is an instance where redesigning for beauty actually increases comfort. Notice the new door handles, streamlined. But the interesting part, you don't push this way, you don't twist down when you really want it to come toward you. You simply take hold of it, pull back your natural motion, and the door opens. The new rear fenders are 25% longer and blend into the uninterrupted line of the body from the front grille to the rear bumper. In the four-door sedans, they form part of the rear door. The new rear deck is wider, viewed from either the side or rear. Almost full car width. The trunk has a new lock. No handle for thieves to get a piece of pipe on and twist open. The bottom tip of the V forms a recessed lift. And look at that new and larger baggage compartment. From outside to outside. The equivalent of 6 extra bushels of room. Note the new outboard hinges at the sides where they won't press into the baggage. While we're round back here, let's note the new taillight designs. See how it becomes part of the fender. Not swelled up and sticking out like a sore thumb, but like a beautiful jewel in a perfect setting. Last year's popular feature has been retained. The automatic backup lights as an extra part of the tail lights. This year, we have a new location for the gas filler cap. It no longer mars the fender design or streaks it with overflow gas. And it is several feet nearer the hose when you're forced to drive up to the left side of a pump. And what about chrome? We use it generously, where it belongs. The massive grille gives the front end the appearance of ruggedness and irresistible power. The single gleaming speed line back along the body, with the stone shield contoured to the rear fender, heightens the illusion of swift flight. It even looks like a streak of lightning. All in all, the amount of chrome we put on the new Chrysler is the amount recommended by fashion experts for good taste. Now, before we get into the interiors, I want to give you an idea of the richness of the material, the new beauty and variety of the combinations. And to tell us about them, here is Miss Jerry Cameron, Hollywood stylist. Miss Cameron.
Thank you, Dick. Hello there. It's a pleasure to talk about the new beauty and style sensation in automobiles, the new Chrysler. You can see here a world of fashion in fabric variety and color range that go into these new cars. Sophisticated broadcloths in harmonizing double tones and lustrous single tones. Exciting plaids and gleaming leathers. Now let's see how some of these combine to make really stunning interiors. This is the New Yorker four-door. Here is one of the many enchanting combinations available. 2 tones of green. One is light and fresh as a spring garden. The other dark as the deepest recesses of a forest glen. The New Yorker Club Coupe. Again, from many combinations, we find this radiant meeting of blue, dark as the ocean's depths, and gray, sparkling as seagulls in the sun, in finest broadcloth, wearing its accessories like jewels. The Newport, in the new cinnamon brown leather and beige plaid, dazzling leather trim to gorgeous lattice-tailored fabric. Just a hint of many combinations that are new in the Newport. The new dash panel safety cushion and glare-proof top cover are carried out in the same pattern, rounding out the new fashion appeal that will surely become the new selling appeal. Eh, Richard?
Yes, indeed. And I want to interrupt here long enough to remind you that all these features are new features. Largely beauty and style features, in addition to all the great mechanical and comfort features you already have in the Chrysler you are now selling. Features that are still superior to anything competition has or is bringing out. You've got new beauty. Yes, breathtaking beauty, distinctive beauty, and style, and good taste. And you still have that Chrysler engineering the other fellas just can't touch. To name only four, no one else has the Chrysler firepower engine. It is still the greatest automobile engine in America. It develops the greatest power over the longest lifespan with the greatest economy. The secret lies in the hemispherical combustion chamber, the type used in aircraft and racing cars that Chrysler engineers perfected along with the lateral valve action. It is not unusual for some of the highly touted competitive engines to lose as much as 20 to 30 horsepower after only the first 6,000 or 7,000 miles due to carbon formation. Because the firepower engine is self-cleaning, it delivers all the power it is supposed to deliver at any and all speeds. 35 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour, or if the needle's on the peg. And it does it even on non-premium fuel. What an engine. Second, you have the Oriflow shock absorbers with the sea leg mounting that soak up gobs of jolts and jars. Competitive shocks, even in the most expensive cars, in order to permit free play of the springs on the boulevards, fail to compensate for the places where the ripples become real bumps. As the bumps increase, the wheels even leave the road. In a Chrysler, you have free spring action on the boulevards, but as the going gets rougher, the restraining action gets tougher. It's the Oriflow shocks that are taxed. The driver is relaxed. The other way, it's not only uncomfortable, but physiologists tell us that the human body can only comfortably absorb a certain number of oscillations per minute. More than that result in fatigue, eye strain, backache, and so forth. The Chrysler Oriflow ride causes the human body to oscillate about as much as sitting at home in a rocking chair. Thirdly, you have Chrysler Power Brakes. The trend to faster cars has greatly multiplied the braking effort required to stop a car safely. Yet the only stopping power other cars have is the pressure the driver can apply with his foot. Whereas with Chrysler Power Brakes, you have power assistance that not only assures maximum braking power with a minimum of foot pressure, but has a generous reserve of stoppability when the situation demands it. And number four, you have Chrysler Power Steering. Now, don't let anyone confuse this with the part-time power steering put out by competition, where the driver has to give the wheel a 3 to 7 pounds of pull first, before the hydraulic assistant deigns to take notice. Not this off again, on again, now you have it, now you don't sort of a thing. But with Chrysler, who gave the world power steering in the first place, you have 450 pounds of hydraulic pressure holding your front wheel steady in sand or rough spots or in case of a blowout. Your power assistance is constant, instant, and always the same. That is why you retain the true feel of the steering wheel, because you always know what to expect. Now, let's see how it works in real life. Of course, we don't recommend steering with one finger, but this young lady shows you it can be done. The wheel turns that easily, but still in perfect control. I have by no means finished with the list of the new features in the new Chrysler, and I don't think I will. You'll soon be seeing them for yourselves. Things like the new wheel cover, the new parking light and directional signal, new contour windshield wipers, the new gear shift indicator design, and so forth. Instead, for my last couple of minutes, I just want to talk to you like a Dutch uncle. I want we should stop a minute and take stock, just how we stack up against competition. Now, I'm going to call a spade, and a Buick. And that goes for Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Mercury, and Lincoln. And most of all, Cadillac. Why most of all? Well, in the first place, we all know Cadillac is a great automobile. When you've got something on Cadillac, you've got it on the rest of your competition double. And gentlemen, you've got several things on Cadillac. Let's take a look at our animation screen. Let's go back a few years. Remember when cars looked like that? Then someone decided they should shorten the wheelbase, push down the top, and pull out the ends. Well, maybe we'd better admit, on the outside it is a prettier car. But the old copybooks used to say, handsome is as handsome does. And if you want to use a car, you have to get in it. Of course, now the seats were too high, so they lowered them. As anyone knows, the lower the seat, the more leg room you need in front of it. But about that time, they wanted a long, flat trunk. With the result that since then, a lot of people have been sitting on the end of their spines, just so they could have a nice trunk. And who rides in a trunk? The baggage. And who cares whether the baggage is comfortable or not? Next, they wanted a still more slanting windshield and rear window. That moved the windshield in, right in front of the driver's nose, and put the sun in his lap. I want you to contrast this sketch with the silhouette of the new Chrysler. I want you to see we've found a way to give our passengers low lines, beautiful lines, but still with chair-height seats and oceans of legroom and headroom besides. Let me ask you, have you ridden in a Cadillac lately? Well, I wish every one of you would go out and borrow one. Get a good one, their premium car, the Fleetwood. Sit behind the wheel with your knees drawn up. Try to lean back and stretch out and see over the steering wheel at the same time. Notice how the closeness of the windshield and the way it's slanted lets the sun's rays beat down on your legs and reflect off the shiny cowl into your eyes. Blink your eyes against the glare and the distortion of the glass. Feel that warm air drawn in over the engine, especially in the summertime, in contrast to the cool, fresh air drawn into your Chrysler through the cowl ventilator. You think I'm exaggerating? I didn't believe it myself until just before we were shooting this picture. I went out and took a ride in both cars. And I can tell you from my own experience the remarkable difference in the Chrysler Oriflow ride. The thrilling feel of that firepower engine, the superiority of the power brakes, and the full-time power steering. And get this, the Chrysler I've been talking about, the one that has all these things over competition, is the 1953 New Yorker. I haven't even mentioned the new Imperial. When you really want to out-Cadillac Cadillac, gentlemen, this is it. The new Imperial by Chrysler. Isn't that the most beautiful car you ever laid your eyes on? There is the finest car that money can buy. The kind of car you expect to encounter in Westchester, in Lake Forest, in Beverly Hills. You'll never mistake it for any other car. From the massive front grille and longer hood, adorned by new radiator ornaments, the diving Chrysler Eagle and plumed V, to the rear deck, designed in the same smart style and distinction, guarded by its heavy-duty double-bar bumper. And will you look at that new, still more commodious trunk, carpeted throughout. The whole underbody undercoated, inside as well as outside, for complete insulation against sound, dirt, and corrosion. Open the door to a new world of elegance and luxury. And again, I'm going to call on our fashion stylist to present it to you, Jerry Cameron.
Here, indeed, is the last word in highway fashion. An interior that reflects discriminating taste, subtle flattery to anyone invited to enter it. Here is luxury, deep, yielding cushions at divan height, with every comfort appointment, plus seclusion, when desired, in a town limousine, by means of the movable glass partition between the passenger and chauffeur's compartment. Overall, it has the continental look. It is the last word in beauty in motion, the crowning achievement in America's first family of fine cars.
Thank you again, Jerry Cameron. Men, honestly, I envy you. The first time you ride down the street in any of the 1953 Chryslers, just watch what happens. See them look. Watch those double takes. How they stare in admiration. They're seeing what Jerry Cameron calls beauty in motion. Well, let's us see some of these new members of the Chrysler family in motion, too. From the 53 New Yorkers, the Club Coupe. The classy New Yorker Newport. This one is in the striking new cinnamon shade. The New Yorker four-door. In all models, a wide range of colors to choose from. The new six-passenger Imperial by Chrysler. The incomparable Imperial limousine. Perfection with practicability for the sophisticate. Here are some of these 1953 Chrysler beauties on parade. When you drive up someplace where your type of prospects are gathered and you park the new Chrysler, notice what happens then. See them swarm around it. Here are the Joneses again. The prospects the dealer was trying to sell at the beginning of the picture.
Oh, look, Fred. There's the kind of car I want. Come on.
Yes, sir. That's the kind the Joneses have been waiting for. The kind you dealers have been waiting for. You know what I've been thinking? How proud Walter P. Chrysler would be of this 1953 line of cars that bear the name of Chrysler. This is what you've been asking for. Never has your line of cars been better. Never has your opportunity been greater. Let's go get 'em. In the next few months, there are going to be some changes made in your neck of the woods. There are going to be some cars disappear from the scene. And some new cars take their places. That's what will soon be happening. The word is already getting around. Things are starting to roll in the automotive world. And the things that are rolling are Chryslers. Wonderful? Yes, we've seen the radiant, the beautiful new Chrysler in the movies. Now, let's see it in person. Here it is.